Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Adulthood Talks with Anthony. Here we're going to have a insightful conversation. For those that are new to the channel, we make mental health conversations and content that's going to be beneficial to your personal development and introducing to your well-being. However, in today's conversation, we're going to be talking about how to navigate friendships and adulthood, building meaningful connections. As we adult, things, life be life and things be getting tough sometimes. It's hard to keep up with those connections, But I think it's really important to be intentional, Put the effort in, And that's what keeps the energy, there. So, like I said, this video is going to be really beneficial for those out there that really want to get insight on, meaningful connections. And, as they transition to adulthood, or even if you are an adult, this is a way that we're able to navigate, life. And then in addition to that, just advice on how to, manage our priorities, in keeping these meaningful connections. So stick with me, grow with me, and we're going to learn. So, in regards to our first segment, we're going to be talking about why friendships matter in adulthood, all right? So off rip, we got to take into consideration that it provides that. Good morning. It provides that emotional support, right? So we got to take in consideration that our friends provide that, system. We're able to, talk to them about different things, life challenges, and they're able to offer us that space where we're able to express our emotions and even seek that advice, right? So that's why it's important having people that you trust, that, give you that positive energy. You feel good, they're vibrant, and they're really here to really actively listen to whatever you're going through. Next is going to be mental and physical health benefits. All right, so studies have shown that close friendships can help reduce stress, boost mental health, and even improve physical health, right? So we got to take that in consideration as benefits from just having, friendships, and also too personal growth. So good friends encourage us to be the best versions of ourselves, offering, that boost and that, criticism. Like constructive criticism, like feedback, right? That's able to help us, get to where we need to be able to look at ourselves and like, yo, like you really, You went through so much, you had that resilience, you went through that. What's stopping you from pushing yourself to get to the next thing? Like we all need that, and that's what a friendship is gonna really be. In addition to that too, that unconditional acceptance. They're there to stick through you. They was there before, And, like I said, life be life. And so you can't always, expect them to always be there, but let's be present in the moment, right? They're there for us right now. And this is why it's important for us to maintain these relationships as we navigate through this video. And in addition to that, I want to also provide you guys with some, research insights, right? So studies show that strong friendships are linked to better well-being. In fact, that research indicates that social connections can be important to health as exercise and diet, right? So the same way we working out, we eating good, It's not for us to isolate and just be doing those things, but we also need to have social connections. It's good for us to have friends. It's good for us to tap in, And one thing that we talked about in, a session of mine that I really want to pull out and leave with you is, this is essential, is by helping others, we help ourselves. And by helping yourself, you help others. So like I said, I really want us to take in consideration, like imagine a heart, right? And the same way we're taking care of ourselves in regards to our self-care, we're loving ourselves, we're doing the things that we got to do, we're putting ourselves, and by having that energy, we're able to help others and vice versa. So I really want us to take in consideration, because having friends and having strong relationships is not going to just, just help us, but it helps other people as well. That energy, that glow. So next segment, we're going to be talking about overcoming the challenges of adult friendships, right? So like I said, life be life and things be getting tough sometimes, right? So it's just, how can we overcome this burden? Because at a certain point, we can't be using that excuse, Like we're too busy, right? And number one, we're going to talk about the first key point, which is going to be what? Busy schedules, right? So adulthood can often feel like it's a balancing act with, work. We talk about family. We talk about other commitments that we, take priorities in, that over, perceive that socializing. So overall, that busy schedules. Next is going to be geographic separation. So it's often that sometimes when we get older, friends move away. It makes it harder for us to sustain those meaningful connections. So that's, different thing, like I said, geographic separation. Next is going to be changing priorities, right? So we got to take in consideration that our interests and our life circumstances evolve. Things just happen, life be happening, right? So which causes our friendships to drift when they're not nurtured, right? So we don't take care of our our friendships. We don't be tapping in, we don't be hitting them up, we don't be asking like really intentional questions like, what you up to, how you feeling, right? And really getting into what's going on and keeping that energy. Sometimes it drifts off. So it's not, we can't be pointing the fingers like they did it, they cut me off, Like we really look at ourselves too. Did we really put that energy in? Was I a good friend? You know what I mean? So let's really take that into consideration and what ways we're able to overcome. So like I said, well, I know we have the busy schedules and things we change it, but take all these things into consideration and really just kind of have grace when it comes to those friendships as well, because, you know, it can be tough, but like I said, these are things that definitely do happen. Next, let's talk about some strategies for building meaningful connections, right? So strategy number one, we're going to talk about be intentional with time. We got to take in consideration that, you know what I mean, scheduling time for friends, just like you would, you know what I mean, with work or family. You know what I mean, you're able to go out there, go to work, put your 8 hours in, and you're able to be on time for them. You're able to show love for your family and be on time for them. You know what I mean? You got to do the same thing with your friend. You got to treat everybody accordingly, with everybody with that same respect, you know what I mean? So it doesn't have to be every day that you spend your time with them, but just that regular check-in, you know, maintains that closeness. So when we provide that, you know, intention with that time with our friend, it don't have to be, you know what I mean, an hour on the phone. It could just be a quick little 5-minute call, 2-minute call. How you doing? You alive? You good? You know what I mean? You feeling good today? I'm gonna tap with you later, you know what I mean? So it's like something like that can really just make someone's day. So let's be intentional with our time. Next is gonna be quantity over quantity. So instead of focusing on, you know, that wide circle and having the most friends and followers, and just try to have that presence on you, right? So prioritize friends with the more meaningful, you know what I mean? Be true with that emotion, that attention, and within that connection, right? So one deep friendship can mean and be more valuable than, you know, those surface, you know, level ones. So I'm just telling you, overall, I think it's much beneficial for you to have one solid person that you could really count on, because if something was to happen, yeah, I mean, you can actually call on them and they actually could do something. You feel me? Than just having all these other people that just, you know what I mean, they're just there for the images, there for the look. So once again, quality over what? Quantity. Moving on to our next is going to be vulnerable, right? So authentic connections are built over trust and vulnerability, which is that openness, right? So don't be shy away from, you know, talking about your thoughts, your true thoughts, your feelings, and even some challenges. That allows you guys to grow. That allows you guys to evolve. That allows you guys to really have, you know, conversations and release that tension for you guys to have a positive well-being by just being vulnerable. Sometimes it's tough. Even one thing that I have on me too, which is journaling. I looked at this once upon a time, like, this ain't doing this. This ain't no diary. But as you know, as you grow, as you evolve, as you change, you realize that it helps you, you know, grow, and you're able to talk about your, you know, your feelings, your emotions, and etc., which helps you to really see things in a different perspective. So I'm asking you once again, be vulnerable. That helps you, you know, making those meaningful, authentic connections, but only with people that you feel like you could trust. So if your energy is telling you something like that, go with your intuition. You feel me? But moving forward, we're gonna be talking about seek like-minded people, right? So find friends who are, you know, sharing those interests, those common goals, those values, you know what I mean, those morals, you know what I mean, y'all, you know what I mean, things is moving in those alignments. So whether it's a hobby in regards to a group, a professional network, or even a community organization, you know what I mean, you guys are sharing those passions, so that those can form those foundations in regards to meaningful friendships. So take those in consideration. But like I said, you really want to really be intentional about what you're doing, you know what I mean? And when you're talking to someone, really being who you are, being authentic, really being open, and just, you're going to start to be free. And before you know it, the connections will be able to last. And, you know, when you're able to tap in with them and etc., and keeping, I mean, doing what you got to do. You feel me? So treating people accordingly, the same way you treat your family, your friends, your people out there at work, etc. Like, you really got to just, you know what I mean, be who you truly are, and everything's gonna, you know what I mean, come together. Next segment, let's dive right into, you know, nurturing long-term friendships, right? So we got to talk about, you know, consistent communication, right? So even when, you know, things get messy, you know, you get busy, it's like I said, it's just taking the effort to keep in touch through messages, calls, and even that social media, FaceTime, you know, what's up, you feel me? So small gestures like that, you know, text, sharing, group chats, and all those different things, or funny messages, or just sending those little pictures and stuff like that, go a long way, you know? So just, I really want to take in consideration that effort, right? So just consistent communication keeps us nurturing long-term friendships. Next is going to be show appreciation, right? So it doesn't take it shouldn't take you to be in a position where you're taking someone for granted and you already lost them. You're like, you down and you bout and you're scratching your head, right? So you really want to show gratitude for your friend, right? So the act of kindness, right? Letting them know you really, you know what I mean, I really appreciate you. You know what I mean? Even for the fellas, like, yo, like, you know what I mean? Like, you ain't got to look soft. You ain't got to be, you know what I mean? Like, be real. Like, yo, bro, like, I really appreciate you. Like, for the past month, you really been holding it down, yo. Like, you haven't been criticizing me. You know what I mean? You haven't been talking down on me. You know what I've been going through. You know what I mean? I really appreciate you and the time, and you know what I mean, even us sitting down at the restaurant, like really spitting game and really giving me advice, and like just being present, you know what I mean? Like just really let somebody know like you really appreciate them, you know what I mean? So it doesn't have, you don't even got to give gifts, so just like the gesture, you just being yourself and just kind of just being really thoughtful about these gestures. So really, once again, I said show appreciation, show them that you really, you know what I mean, you appreciate, you love, you know what I mean, like everything that you're doing is like you're really doing it for heartfelt, you know what I mean? And everything, blessings will come. Next is going to be flexible. So understand that life changes, life be life, and you don't have control of every circumstance. People are going to be on their own time. They have things that they have to do. You know what I mean? So when it comes to our friendships, like I said, we have to be flexible. We have to be able to adapt when, you know, our friends are going through, you know, tough times or whatever the schedule changes are going to be, or even just, you know, things are not going as perfectly as they once did before, right? We got to take that in consideration, is be flexible. Next segment we're going to be taking into consideration, we're going to slide right into navigating, you know what I mean, conflict in friendships, because things be popping up, you know, feel me? So we got to take into consideration open communication. So if conflict arises, address it directly, be kind. Like I said, treat someone the way you want to be treated. So, you know what I mean, respect, avoid letting, you know, misunderstandings, you know, fester. Keep things consistent on what's going on. You know what I mean, don't let other things drift into what's going on, because that shows that other pent-up emotions are now being involved into something that's kind of irrelevant for what was going on, right? So like I said, be direct, be kind, be respectful, and stay consistent to the issue. And if other things are, you know, festering, you can talk about those things and break those things down accordingly, right? Next is going to be embrace forgiveness, right? So friendships are imperfect, things be happening, you know, I mean, sometimes we fall down, we still have the ability to get back up. Forgive is something that we have to take in consideration. Everybody makes mistakes. The key to embracing forgiveness is both of you guys have to take in consideration, you know, for yourself and for others. And I mean, like, overall, we have to just take in consideration, like, we make mistakes. Next, we're going to say know when to let go. Not all friendships are meant for us to last forever. We got to take in consideration that, you know, if a friendship becomes toxic and no longer, you know, is serving you, we have to take consideration it's okay to, you know, take in consideration that we may have outgrown this friendship. And ending the friendship respectfully is a form of self-care, right? So we have to take consideration what's best for our mind, our peace of mind, our well-being, and our mental health. So, you know, we have to know when to let go. Just overall, just sliding into just wrapping this video up, I really want to take into consideration, you know, when it comes to a life journey, when it comes to our friendships, you know, friendships in adulthood acquire us to have what? Effort. We have to be intentional about what we're doing. We have to be authentic. We have to really be our true self for things to really cultivate and really last long, you know what I mean? But just to provide, you know, the deep emotional support, you know, friendships help us, help our lives, you know, helps things be fun sometimes, help us grow together, it helps us share experiences, it helps us, you know what I mean, you know, whether we're having our ups or having our downs. And overall, I just want to take consideration that, like I said, friendships do benefit our well-being by us helping ourselves, and we help others. And like I said, I really want us to consideration, once again, be authentic, be intentional, and put any effort. And like I said, by doing that, we're going to be able to, you know, have lifelong and meaningful relationships and friendships. So if you found that it was beneficial for this video, give it a thumbs up, share if possible, and I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.